Thanks for joining us. Now, the Upper East region is one of the poorest in Ghana, with women in that area being the worst affected. As the world marks International Day for the Eradication of Poverty today, October 17, Joy News' Upper East correspondent Albert Sori tells the story of 65-year-old Atipoka Ayo, a widow who lost her husband and 6 children over 10 years ago, accused of witchcraft and left alone to her fate. She now fends for herself and 2 of her nieces from the meager returns of her petty trades and aid from a local women empowerment organization.
For 65-year-old Atipoka Ayo, every single day comes with a battle to survive. She looks too active for someone her age, but this is who she must be if she wants to put food on the table. Atipoka lives in this old madhouse at Anatim in the outskirts of Bolgatanga here in the Upper East region. She lost her husband more than 10 years ago. Before then, her 6 children had died before their 10th birthday.
My first 2 children died shortly after birth. The 3rd child died in my womb before he was taken out. After that, I had twins, a boy and a girl. The girl later died, leaving behind the boy who became a shepherd and looked after his father's sheep. There is a dam not too far away from here. One day, while herding the sheep, the boy went for a swim in the dam and drowned in the process. I had another child after that, but that one too died while he was still crawling.
She recalls that despite the sorrows, she and her husband were generally happy. They worked together on their farms to fend for themselves, and she never had to worry about poverty or hunger. Things, however, took a turn for the worst after Atipoka's husband also died and her brother-in-law accused her of using witchcraft to kill her children and husband.
My brother-in-law would sometimes call me a cannibal who ate up my entire family spiritually. He would go on to tell me to leave this house because he was not going to allow me to kill him as well. Anytime he did this, I would put my hands on my head and wail and wail. Then he would make mockery of me. He did this for a long time, and one day he disappeared from this house. For 2 years now, we have not seen him. His children live here with me.
With no one to help her, Atipoka now engages in different kinds of petty trades to fend for herself and her 2 nieces who live with her. She says she goes from shea nut processing to weaving of straw baskets and selling firewood, all to earn some income. But the returns from these trades are often a pocket change, just about enough for the next 1 or 2 meals.
From these petty trades, I managed to buy food for us. As for clothing, I don't even talk about it. I have 1 skirt and a blouse, which I have used for the past 5 years, and I have no cloth to wrap myself with. So just imagine that, using the same clothes for 5 years. Sometimes, I don't even want to go to church because I feel like an outcast among the congregation. But the pastor has spoken to me against having such thoughts, so I keep going to church each time in these same clothes.
The Widows and Orphans Movement, a women empowerment organization, has been helping Atipoka and many other women in similar situations. They helped Atipoka to learn a trade in basket weaving and give her some aid once a while. Atipoka tells me, but for the intervention of the Widows and Orphans Movement, she would have been homeless or even dead, because this house, which she lives in now, once got ripped apart by a storm and she was left with no roof over her head.
All my rooms were destroyed. In those days, anytime it threatened to rain, I'd run to that nearby house for shelter. It continued like that until a friend introduced me to the Madam at the Widows and Orphans movement. Then she sent people to come and fix 2 rooms for me.
Atipoka says she would appreciate help if it comes, but for her, asking for more help will amount to pushing her luck because her situation before now was far worse off. She puts the amount of money she and her nieces live on at an estimated 4 Ghana cedis a day. She is unaware of any government interventions for people like her. Nonetheless, she has resolved to be content with her current financial situation. For her, she must crawl her way to survival 1 step at a time, every single day. Reporting for Joy News, Albert Sori, Anatim, Bolgatanga.